Happiness. Welcome back to Europe, to your native Austria. It's great that our common friend and angel investor introduced us. And it's also cool to be in the same time zone and looking forward to meeting you in person, maybe in a few days in Berlin. My name is Katia. I am a founder of ContentRadar.ai. We help individuals and companies create content fast. And we started with LinkedIn and Twitter, as we think those two platforms are absolutely essential to start building your personal brand, thought leadership, and take ultimately your business off the ground through those activities. And we know that people spend up to like 20 hours per week doing so, creating content for these platforms or repurposing it. And it's not even the main job.
Still, I think you jumped 1 or 2 steps ahead. I want to know more about you, because actually one thing I love about this podcast is getting to know the founder. So tell me one fun fact about you that not many people know and you think is cool, or other people think is cool.
To lies and the truth. Now, maybe a fun fact about me: when I was a teenager, I wanted to become an archaeologist.
Oh, wow.
So I would go on archaeological excavation because it's an interesting one. We went around still as a hobby when they were studying. I grew up in a family of engineers and one doctor. So mostly everyone expected from me to, follow their steps and become an engineer or a doctor. I always had good grades. I was always a class representative. I'm the oldest sister and cousin in the family, and maybe also son or brother. Like, I don't know, by now, never have. But yeah, so I followed the steps of my parents in terms of their hobby and went on archaeological excavations a few times in Ukraine. And then also when we moved to Western Europe, so I also went to archaeological excavations in the UK and spent a month in the field excavating Roman villa. I like it. I like the historical part of it, the Indiana Jones adventures part of it. Then also I decided I would love to shape the future rather than digging in the past. And, you find like little stone or corner and then you build a whole section on top of that. I think it's much more exciting to science fiction books. That was another hobby of mine, like growing up as tourist. And then just, imagine the future, make it up and build it, like question the status quo, like don't dig into the status quo of the past. But I admire archaeologists and people who work like in history.
That's so interesting. So what inspired you then becoming a founder? So you were digging up as a kid some old thing and you're like, oh, it's boring. I want to do something new. Like, was it like that?
I love being there with the people and doing something intellectual, not just being in the summer camp like all the kids, but actually, while we are digging something out, that will be the museum, and it might shape how we've been thinking about the human history until now. So like Romans and Greek, we were excavating like a Greek bodies and on the Black Sea, and also like Scandinavian trade route. So it's exciting, but growing up, I actually wanted to become a businesswoman. So I don't know if I had like in the 90s, beginning of 2000, if I had like this like founder tour. I don't think so. I wanted to like be a businesswoman, so I grew up playing Barbies and climbing trees with my friends, mostly guys. I don't know. I wanted to like travel the world, make some deals happen, assemble teams, come up with some visionary ideas or products or like deal making stuff and make it happen. And I've been really like organizing like within the family or in the class at school, newspaper, theater, I don't know, something like that. So very active. And when I started in business to the disappointment of my like engineers family. But I guess it's fine. It's like pick your own way, right? And then I worked in creative industries, so that was also a bit different from my classmates who worked in investment banking and consulting firms. I decided to do my internships at a music publishing company called EMI Music. Then I worked in the advertising department at Coca-Cola. I worked at the digital marketing agency, and I love creative industries, but I've decided I would be on the monetization side of things. So making money, trying to figure out how to make money. And I guess after joining Spotify and working there from Series B 150 employees, tiny startup in 5 European countries, pre-US launch, until 2,000 people, post-IPO streaming giant, living and starting. This is now my second venture. Yeah, I guess it all made sense until now.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
That's impressive. So you were there very early and then did a lot of things and IPO and now this thing. Okay. Wow. So what is Content Radar about? Like, how did you come up with this idea? And why are you spending your time on that and not creating music thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very good question. I mean, whatever you do, you have to see meaning behind it, right? And like big meaning. Otherwise, why would you jump out of bed on a gray Monday morning and to do it? So I've co-founded Content Radar a bit more than 1 year ago with another ex-Spotifyer, with Ricardo Pizzotta, my dear co-founder, who is an excellent product designer, and he also studied computer science. So he's our CPTO, and I take care of all of this related to business marketing, people, fundraising, and so on. So why did this started? So Ricardo has been building also tools for marketing teams to make their life easier and more automated and reduce manual and tedious tasks. He actually, the two of us helped to build 3 European unicorns, which is rare and founding too. So Ricardo worked for Get Your Guide, very early days, with Series B to then she joined Zalando at their stage and Spotify as well. That's when we met, like basically like leaving Spotify already. And at Spotify, I've been working in media sales and account management, so mostly pitching Spotify advertising solutions to agencies and marketeers. So I know this started really well, also from my times at Coca-Cola when I was juggling Excel spreadsheets myself. So we started to ask ourselves if consumer tech, these consumer tech companies we worked for, are so seamless and easy. Like with one swipe, you have a date. With one click, you have a pizza, you have a ride, you have anything. Why marketeers juggling Excel spreadsheets and copy pasting stuff, and on average they use 7 different tools, like just to push out some LinkedIn posts. It can be true. So the tag is there. Ricardo is a UI genius, like together with the rest of our team. So let's package it up and make like a really delightful marketing OS for marketeers and founders that helps them create content fast. And the next step for us will be we want to help all the founders and marketeers create content that converts.
Yeah.
So basically closing this marketing sales thing.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, and I also agree 100%. It's kind of interesting that despite all technology, things take a lot of time. Even for my posts on LinkedIn, which usually are not that deep, but still it takes a lot of time. So what are the challenges right now for you? I mean, normally I ask what are your challenges very early on, but it sounds like it's still very early on. So what are your challenges right today with your product?
Yeah, I think so. I think the challenge as an early stage founder is also one day you wake up and you think you're on top of the world, like building the next Google, right? You know the roller coaster really well. So it's like multiple highs and lows during the same day. And then the other day you wake up and you think like, oh my God, we're completely delusional. This is such a red ocean, such a crowded market. How will we make it happen? Like, why us? Why already? And are we onto something? Like, yes, no. So I think it's very, very important to stay like very enthusiastic, optimistic, but also strategic, and just keep pushing. So I think this is the challenge: is like the energy, mental and intellectual kind of resilience and determination to. Yeah, I mean, not making it. Yeah, exactly. Like you've got it, and not making it is not an option at all. So that's what we have to. And of course, so there is a myriad of social media tools out there.
How high is the pain level right now? So, as a founder, 10 is like infinite suffering. Serious, like, it's okay. Like, where are you right now on the pain level?
On the pain level of like we're completely delusional. We're not gonna make it, or
yeah, no, on the pain level, like. How much does it feel? Like sometimes it just feels like really a lot. Like, how much does it feel in this moment right now for you today?
To be honest, I love it. I could not, some days hard, but I could not imagine be doing something else right now.
Yeah, that's the right answer. It's the same for me every day.
Then when you hang out with your friends, right, who tell you about their like corporates 9 to 5 struggles. I mean, 9 to 5, of course not. Like if they don't have kids, they take work home and they
Or 10
work
to
on
4
weekends and
sometimes, right? No.
no, sometimes it's 9 to 9, like if they don't have young families or like
It's true,
families at all. And then on the weekend they sit there and they're like super stressed about like internal politics and the boss. And then like, I mean, as a founder, you're always working, and yes, you work on the weekends too sometimes, and you're like carrying around with you all the ideas of like constantly networking and think about it. But then it's like, would I change with my friends? Like, of course they have a nicer paycheck and all that. Like, never. Limit.
Yeah. I think the suffering is different for the corporate world. It's funny because I had last week some sort of guest lecture at the University of Sydney, speaking with all those young kids, and now all of them want to work for internet. So it's kind of companies like Meta and Facebook, Google, Canva, but they don't, and they ask me how I did it, but they don't see that at the time when I did it, I just didn't want to have a corporate job. But now these companies became corporate. So I think they don't understand that it's like any other job now. Like very often, I mean, obviously the differences, and they don't want to join small companies anymore or high risk things like I did. And we talked about it, but it's kind of interesting that they think that it's going to be very different working for these companies. In fact, if there are 3,000-4,000 people, I think they're going to be surprised that it's quite the same potentially. But that was an interesting observation from my perspective. Yeah, just want to mention it.
Yeah, it's like from generation to generation it changes. I guess it depends on the uni also. And yeah, sometimes you have this image of the company that it's super cool, but then yeah, if it's 4,000 employees, there will be processes.
It's a lot of people, and I don't want to be in these shoes either. So I'm very happy with my low income and journey. So much better. So how did you launch your product initially? You said you had a co-founder who is also designer and technical, which sounds like a great thing for you as a company. So how did you initially go to market and at day one, and what are you doing today on developing and evolving the product?
Yeah, so last year, this time, we had nothing but our LinkedIn profiles and a pitch deck. And we've been still like talking to VCs and collecting term sheets and collecting rejections, many of them, and closing our first pre-seed funding round. We closed it in fall. Started build. Obviously, what the challenges are to find good developers to join your cause and to set up the whole framework. And once we had something kind of visible, like the very first little we've onboarded first design partners from our network, so it was in closed beta. And I mean, before starting the company, before having this pitch deck, which we took to the VCs and business angels, we've been researching and ideating for like almost 7 months, kind of part-time. So we decided, okay, let's do something for the marketing target audience, like marketing tech, and we've been tying around with a couple of different approaches and ideas, also for the later stage companies, earlier stage, and so on, which we decided to start with like prosumer long tail and then move up market. So we already have had like our former interview partners and a network. So we relied on that for our like product development and closed beta stage. We started doing socials, so LinkedIn and Twitter ourselves, and the blog, kind of like PGL dog food. And we launched end of May, just doing a friends and family launch on LinkedIn and Twitter, asking our existing investors, users, friends, and family to kind of share our teaser video and our journey, like repost it. And we launched with a basic Stripe integration, with a very basic pricing plan, just to see if some people would pay, just to validate the willingness to pay. And it happened. So we got our first paying customers. who are not our neighbors, or parents, or close friends. We're like, like kind of the network of the network of the network. So yeah, thanks LinkedIn. And we were like, okay, cool. So we are onto something. And since 1 month and a half, I have a marketing colleague also here in our team, who is amazing. She's called Trisha, and she's helping me to set up all the marketing foundations, content, SEO. We are preparing the product hard launch, and I think we will experiment with like some small paid experiments too. But we're still in the product development phase, so kind of that's like.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, I also tested your product and it's quite good and functional in every sense. So yeah, obviously every user has feedback, but good job, I would say, on the execution and polish. It looks very nice. Yeah.
Still a long way to go, but it's like small iterations and steps. I think there are no overnight miracles. It's just how you read it in the
100%.
magazines, but it's like polishing step by step, and
100%. Yeah. So what are your favorite subscription tools that you use in the business and personally? It can be Netflix, it can be Notion. Tell me about it. Like, what's your favorite thing right now you use? The Google Suite. And then we move to Notion, and now we are very happy. So for us, we are like basically restricting to 4 people only now, so we don't use as much. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you find out in a couple of months about your journey, just because I'm curious. And then obviously we use ContentRadar now and ChatGPT, Mistral, and all of these AI tools as well. And Loom. It's very good. So this type of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Do you use Loom?
We do. It's a genius project. It took them also almost a decade to nail it.
Ah, really?
It's not founded yesterday. So yeah, it's long very.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer making 1 million or 10 million ARR now, like in 1 month, and then having 10 million ARR for the next growing to 50 million ARR in the next 10 years? Or do you prefer making 100,000 ARR in the next year, but then in 10 years, 1 billion?
I mean, I don't know. Answer your question.
What do you prefer? No.
I really like working with my co-founder and what we're doing, and we are on a mission to build the next leading player in the marketing automation space, which is 8 billion market, and it's dominated by HubSpot to 40% right now. Company that is 18 years old. So I think we're here for the long run, and we want to build a really big company, but we have to, for now we are working on increasing our retention rate, because this is the first indicator of product market fit. And yes, we have first monetization, and we'll grow it step by step. And if it starts like growing exponentially, amazing, like we found gold. But I think no one built a unicorn in 7 months.
100%.
So it's a marathon,
But maybe it's like 10 million ARR in a month and then 1 billion in 10 years. So that would be ideal. Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
I'm just kidding, obviously. For me, I don't have the answer. Most of the time, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to make sure we can grow the business, invest in the long-term bets, and then I believe if we work on the right things hard enough and test, we will create a very valuable company. That's how I see it.
Exactly. And if you receive feedback from the users that it makes their life easier, it saves the time, they love it, they love paying for it, and they bring new users on board. So it's like, wow, I'm improving people's lives.
That's so nice.
So this is the main motivation. And yes, of course, you want those Stripe notifications coming in every second, ideally. That's the goal. Like, you have to work hard towards.
Yeah, I know myself. I mean, for us, we never received this positive feedback from our subscription app users. So we created the marketplace and the subscription management app, because we realized around 8 weeks ago that in order for us to win, we need to have much more integrations. And probably it's also something you phase, you need to integrate with LinkedIn APIs and stuff like that. And we need to integrate with bank APIs and accounting software APIs. So it's like one level more secure and challenging, therefore, I think, I assume. So it was just too hard for us with the resource we have, and we didn't see the certainty that this will lead to more success. So we kind of stopped investing in this area for now and investing in the marketplace and in our AI services. So unfortunately, it never happened to us that people really said, oh yeah, that's awesome. I mean, people indicated it, but it was never like in your case. So that's really nice for me to hear that you achieved this. And I hope it makes you also very proud, because for many people it doesn't work, like myself. So congrats, yeah.
Well, I mean, we will see step by step. We start having like your first 10 true fans, and then you need to grow them to 100 and then to 1,000 and so on. So it's a journey, yeah, of tweaks and iterations and failures too. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. If it was easy, like everyone would be doing it, right?
I guess so. So that's also what I think. So how have you ensured your product really stands out? Because you said sometimes you think there's so many competitors, and obviously also I used some of them like Taplio before. So what makes you different, or what you think, how you want to differentiate from them?
Yeah. So it's a super good question. So you mentioned you're using ChatGPT. We actually built in their content radar assistant. So we built a conversational interface like chatbot into the software. It happened last week. So we will wire it also even better with the rest of the product. So you don't have to go to ChatGPT anymore, and you kind of train your own model. So what our product does differently, when first of all you have like CMS start repurposing content or creating content with Content Radar, and you have it like on our platform. And when you're doing onboarding and when you're like creating content and repurposing it, we learn from your tone of voice and from your visual brand identity that is in the making too. We are shipping it in the next days. So the switching costs are really high, because you have something that nails your tone of voice and like your look and feel of your brand, of your startup. So you can have both like thought leadership, personal brands, and like your startup's content. And that is something that actually not many tools nail, not many tools that are out there. So CMS and like personalization for these AI generations and repurposing.
I love that because I read recently that ChatGPT is injecting breadcrumbs in the output, so other universities can identify it. But for me, these breadcrumbs are not really hidden. It's like too obvious, and ChatGPT became like really shit because it doesn't change the prompts anymore. Now it always feels like a robot, so I have to edit it all the time. How do you, I don't know, like, is this something you're aware of, that ChatGPT does that? And how do you prevent it that content creators actually don't feel like it's like a robot that wrote it and have to reprompt it again and again and again?
Yeah, so I mean that's why we're building our tool, and that's why it took us several months to nail it. So we use a mix of, so we have like prompts kind of made for you, so it's happening behind the scenes, so you don't have to worry. You just do your onboarding, like we know the target group you want to reach, we know your tone of voice, we know what you're into. We have a couple of content pieces that you've repurposed in the past, and so we can suggest it really for you, personalized. And we use a mix of ChatGPT and Claude. But then we can use also other APIs, and at some point we will build our own models.
That's probably key, like switching a bit between them. We're using also a Claude and Mistral. We tried out. That's very interesting. So it's for everyone a challenge, it sounds like. And also, I know we're almost out of time, so I have one more question for you, which is one thing you want to share with our audience through our channel and would like them to know.
In general, about the world?
It can be anything. It can be like about your product. It can be advice you want to give them. Maybe what would you give yourself as a younger founder advice on? Katia, 10 years ago, what would you tell her?
Yeah, I mean, I started the founder journey 2.5 years ago, and before that, I was accompanying other founders as an angel investor. I'm still new to that. I'm learning. It's much harder than you think, but why not? I think, yeah, try, go, just do it. It's like learning by doing. That's the most precious thing. And it's always, I think it has like the business idea and everything has to grow out organically out of your like, personal experiences and your network. And if you want to leverage your network and like personal brand and then take off your business through that on LinkedIn and Twitter, well, you can use ContentRadar.ai,
100%.
which is what we're building. And if you want like a friends and family premium code, then I don't know, ping me or yours. So happy to set
Yeah.
you up and give you a little product tour too. Although it's